Hello, everybody. So, as you can see, I am not in my house. Today is exceptionally warm, and honestly, I needed to get the fuck out of the house. So, here I am in my car, about 3 miles from my house, at a park where everybody and their mama is right now. And that's that on that. You know they're not supposed to be here, but I'm here, so I can't really complain. Um, but I will say that if you need to get out of the house, please get out of the house. But stay, far apart from each other. It looks like that's what everyone's doing right now. I mean, there are some people that are just out here raw dogging the air. No mask. I'm in my car, of course, so I don't need a mask. If you're in your car and you're wearing a mask, I'm really concerned about your mental health. Don't call me. Don't at me. Anyway, so this is not going to be a traditional reading or a reading at all. As you can see, I'm in my car, so I'm going to be giving some tips about tarot and just being in this walk, basically. If you ever see me like looking over, I'm just looking at these people, to be honest. I love people watching. But yeah, I figured I would give you guys a couple of tips regarding reading tarot, starting to read tarot, and any other things that come to mind as I'm sitting here thinking. So, I started reading tarot. I wanted to, I guess, talk about how I got into reading tarot. So I started reading tarot in 2018. And the way that I started reading tarot, so I've always been interested in like metaphysical things and like things of that nature, but I never knew that like I could do it myself. I always thought that someone else had to do it for me. So when I was living in New York City, I used to get tarot readings over the phone and in person, and they were always like super expensive, and I just never had the money for it then. So I went very rarely. And then when I moved to California, I remember I was like, I had just left work. I had just got my paycheck and I was on my way home to, go get dinner. But I saw this tarot reader, and it was the first time I had gotten my cards read since being in California. So I was like, all right, let me see what this is about. So I went into the tarot reader, and she started reading my cards, and she didn't tell me how much it was. So then when I asked her, how much do I owe you? She goes, how much do you have? And that was the first red flag. Like I should have definitely lowballed her. But I told her, I was like, yeah, I have like $91, something like that. Like, this is my grocery money. So she's like, take out your money. And she literally like took the cash from me, and I guess she blessed it, but she blessed the money, like, and like did all this stuff with my hands, and then put the money right in her pocket and said, have a good day. And I was like, oh shit, like, okay. So like the next time I got paid, I went to a bookstore and I ended up getting my own tarot deck, because I was like, that was literally my grocery money. Like, yeah, the information I needed was relevant, and it's still relevant to this day. But anyway, so it ended up working itself out, because it led me to getting my own cards. And that's one of the very first things that I want to address. I feel like a lot of people, especially when you first start in this, they tell you, oh, you need to be gifted a tarot deck, and you can't buy your own deck, this, that, and the third. That's bullshit. Buy your own deck if you want it. That's exactly what I did. I mean, I didn't really have many choices when I went to the bookstore that, I didn't have many choices at the bookstore that I went to, but there were a couple there, and I ended up getting them. Now, if I think about it, being more involved in the work now, I probably should have cleansed that deck, but instead of just using it. But I mean, it served its purpose, and now that deck has a new home. So I say all of that to say that first things first, when it comes to getting a tarot deck, you can purchase your own, or you can be gifted one. However, I always think that, especially if you intend on being a tarot reader, like professionally, you should get your own deck. Get something that you feel comfortable with. Or if you feel comfortable being gifted one, let that happen to you too. But you can get your own. You can get your own tarot deck. Who's stopping you? Nobody. So I wrote down a bunch of stuff. Let me just look at what I got here. When you start reading tarot, I know one of the very first things I did was I went to Tumblr and I went to Pinterest and Google. I was looking up all different types of tarot spreads because I didn't know what I was supposed to ask. So those are the next two things. When it comes to learning how to read tarot, know that there are 78 cards in a tarot deck. And depending on how you read them, there are upright meanings and reversed meanings. So that's 78 times 2, plus however many individual meanings there are. So general, career, love, spiritual meaning. So that's like exponential meanings for each card. Don't get bogged down by all of the details. If you are a visual learner, definitely get a deck that is going to have a lot of art and illustrations on it. That'll be really helpful for you to understand symbols and things like that. But if it's more helpful for you to just study the cards, then use websites like Biddy Tarot or the Tarot Guide. Just Google Seven of Swords and you can find plenty of websites that'll give you meanings. And I would suggest that if that's the route that you go, don't just stick with one website, because there are numerous interpretations for one card. And I may look at the Chariot in a different way that you may look at the Chariot. So just keep that in mind. Like, you have to trust your intuition. That's number 4. Trust yourself. Trust your intuition. Wait, I skipped number 3. All of the spreads. So when it comes to asking the cards, so this is sort of like a 3A. Y'all don't mind me. I tried to organize it all in my head, but it didn't work out that way. When you are asking the cards a question, you need to be very specific in how you ask a question. So you can say, am I ever going to find true love? And depending on your cards, they may tell you, yeah. That's it though. You know what I mean? Like, they may give you the Sun. They may straight up just say yes. But, they may also tell you 4 of Cups, which could mean, yeah, it's very likely that you'll fall in love, but you need to be open to your opportunities, because love could very well be sitting right under your nose, but you're not paying attention to it. You're sitting here looking at the other 3 cups like, meh. You know what I mean? Like, so there are plenty of interpretations for each card. So you have to phrase your question very carefully. And that in itself is a whole nother video, and I won't get into that. But your phrasing is very important. So phrasing goes into the kind of spreads that you look at. Because there are so many spreads, it's really easy to get overwhelmed with the amount of information that you can get in a spread. So there's 1, 3, 5, the Celtic cross, all of those kinds of spreads. And it depends on you. Like, you can read or watch other people read tarot, and you may see them shuffle and cards fall out and they grab whatever cards those are, or maybe they put them out in 3 different rows and pick a card. Like, everybody has their own thing, and that's what you have to do. So along with buying your own deck, you have to get comfortable with your cards. You have to get comfortable with the way that they speak to you, which is the next thing that I'll get into. But you have to get comfortable with your cards and how you attain information. So if 5 cards are entirely too much information for you, it's probably best for you to keep it simple and use 1 card. Or use 1 card and sort of like look at the surrounding cards, or use 1 card and the card at the bottom of the deck, or just use 1 card altogether. If 5 cards are entirely too little for you, which is sometimes the case for me, it's crazy hot today, and I'm wearing a long sleeve sweater. If 5 cards are entirely too little for you, you could spice it up and look at the surrounding cards. I kind of look at it like context clues, like the cards that are surrounding. So, okay, let's say that I'm pulling cards for the general public, and Ace of Cups pops out. The Sun is at the bottom of the deck, but then the Seven of Swords is directly beneath the Ace of Cups. I would say that means, like, if you were to look at that on face value, the Ace of Cups is a new creative opportunity. You are feeling really creative, but with the Seven of Swords beneath it, depending on if it's upright or reversed, you see how many different things are involved. Depending on if it's upright or reversed, you may have people around you that are trying to sabotage your creativity. But the Sun at the bottom of the deck says overall you are the pinnacle of this creativity. Can't nobody get away from, can't nobody get in the middle of that, in the way of your success. So let's see. I want to reiterate trusting yourself and being easy on yourself. Trusting your intuition. I will be honest, I've been reading cards for about three years, and every day that I read cards, I learned something new. And that's the thing. You can't ever say that you know everything when it comes to tarot, astrology, spirituality. It is ever expanding, and there is always something new to learn. So, whenever I'm reading cards, sometimes I do doubt myself, and sometimes I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? But then I have to really sit with myself and say, you've been doing this for years. You know what you're talking about. So I just have to sit with myself and really look at the cards and say, oh, duh, okay. Seven of Swords isn't necessarily somebody being creepy or someone being malicious. This could just mean that you need to be more strategic about your creativity. You know what I mean? It's like there are so many different meanings to all of these cards. So don't beat yourself up if you can't get a specific meaning for a card, or you feel like you're watching someone else's readings. A bunch of cards just came by. Don't compare yourself to other people, and if you feel like their readings are more successful than yours, or if you're looking at their reading and you wouldn't have gotten that, that's okay. That's not what your spirit is telling you. That's not what your ancestors are telling you. You have to understand that all of your cards have different personalities, and that was the next thing I was coming to. All of your cards have different personalities. I personally have over 10 decks, and I've been gifted a couple of different decks. But either way, if I buy them or if they've been gifted to me, every deck has a personality, and it's either feminine, masculine, androgynous, whatever. You have to talk to your deck and get comfortable with your deck to find out who they are. And that is so much fun because one of the spreads that I would say is good to use every time you start out, or that's the other thing about spreads, you can make your own. Everything about reading tarot is so personal. You can do this shit yourself. You can teach yourself. You can make the spread yourself. And I sometimes suggest to do that. Sometimes I don't know what questions to ask, so I just Google it. What do I need to know about this deck? What is this deck going to teach me? What is this deck going to help me with? What are this deck's limitations. You know what I mean? Like, those are all really good things to know. And especially if you're reading tarot for other people, or even if you're reading tarot for yourself, it's important for you to know what personality your deck has. Like, I personally have a deck that straight up told me it was down to gossip. It's down to spill tea whenever. So, like, that's the deck that I go to when I'm trying, what's this person talking about? What's going on here? You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like that deck is definitely going to be the one that's going to help me if I need to know some shit. But in regards to being my most creative self, I don't know if that's the deck that's going to help me with that, you know? So I believe it's important to have more than one deck. I mean, but I'm also a hoarder, low-key, so. When it comes to cleansing your deck, I do. So, these are just some playing cards that I have. I've never used these before, but, when you want to clean your deck or bond with your deck, a way that you can do it is, so I don't have somewhere for you to see it, but imagine that these are 3 different decks here. So you want to separate them into 3 decks, and sometimes I just like mix them all together, like, you know, clean them, blow life into them, clean them with incense. You can I don't know if you use salt to clean them. You can put them in some salt. Cleanse them with crystals, with sunlight, moonlight, charge them. Ways to bond with them: you can sleep with them under your pillow. I put mine on my ancestor altar, or at least the ones that I use specifically to talk to my ancestors. Some people are really anal about their cards. Some people don't want other people touching their cards, and I understand that, because when you allow someone, all the time that I just spent shuffling these cards, I just put my energy into these cards. So say that I were to do a reading with them right now, like, that's my ancestors, that's my spirit that's in these cards. But if I had someone else to pull a card for me, that would not be detrimental, but their energy would be on these cards. So it's important for you, because you don't want to take on that energy. It's important for you to cleanse your cards after every reading, you know, especially after a heavy reading, heavy emotional reading, you know, any of those kinds of things. So, you know, for me personally, I have a few decks that I let my husband and my baby touch, but like, there is one deck specifically that no one is allowed to touch but me. And that's how it should be. Because you want there to be some decks that are completely untainted. You don't want anyone to be able to, puncture or impede your energy in any kind of way. One of the other things is I have here is you can pull for yourself. Obviously, you can pull for yourself. You can buy your own deck. Yes, you can pull for yourself. But I know that there are some people that say, no, you shouldn't. Oh no. You should, have other people read for you. And I have people read for me often, but I also do have very specific people that I go to because I trust them and their energy. You know, sometimes it's hard for you to be objective and to look at the cards and be like, okay, well, all right, you know, that 3 of Swords, what does that mean? You know what I mean? It's like, you know damn well what that means, but do you want it to mean what it means? You know, so it's like, sometimes you need other people to call you on your bullshit, because tarot will call you on your bullshit. But if you aren't ready to receive that message, then why are you pulling cards? So that's it. Damn, I really did. I just sat here and talked. So yeah, that's really about it. Those are all the things I can think of so far. And if you guys have any questions or any thoughts or even any other tips as readers, please leave some comments below. Share this with people that you know need assistance with reading. or even thinking about getting into reading. I'm not personally there to be telling you like, oh, this card means that, and you know, like, I'm not there. I'm I'm not gonna do that just yet. But I do want you to know that you can surprise yourself when you really put the effort into learning something, because you know, I've been reading for about 3 years now, or a little over 3 years, and oh, it's a little ladybug. That's good luck, you guys. Yeah, it's like I've been reading tarot for over 3 years, and I just sat here and gave you 20 minutes of information off the top of my head. And nothing about tarot specifically, but you know, I did drop a few gems, and it is always surprising to me when I have to talk to someone about tarot or astrology or something like that, and I just know stuff. Take the time and really study. If this is something that you want to do, it is so much fun, and it's so insightful, and it's so healing. Take it seriously and really pay attention to the cards, because you have a whole ass gift. If you are reading this, if you're watching this video, you're watching it for a reason. You were drawn to this video for a reason, and I was called to make this video for a reason. If you know me, you know I'm not an instructor. You know, I'd rather just say my shit. So anyway, if you want to book a personal reading with me, you can click the link down below. I don't have any decks to show you guys today, but I will be linking down below my favorite personal tarot readers. And I haven't, these people I haven't gotten readings from, but they definitely have inspired me to start my own YouTube channel. So I encourage you, if you don't already, to follow them below. And I hope that this brightened up your Monday. I hope that you have a beautiful Monday. And I hope that you have a beautiful rest of the week. Bye, guys.